What up? I have something very, very interesting that I'd never seen before. I got distracted the fuck out of. Actually, first, hold on.
I dislike starting a mission without the full facts. No
Never
one
mind, fuck it. I thought there was something else I wanted to say.
greatest fortresses of the Imperium.
I do have a meal here, so I'm gonna eat that and talk about this at the same time.
I have a premonition.
Just
This
deal
will
with it.
not be easy.
You'll be fine. Matter of fact, grab yourself a snack too. Bro, I'm so fucking good at cooking. Holy shit. I need to do this more often. I got so fucking distracted this weekend. I was playing D&D. But I've solved the riddle. The problem of every TTRPG player's entire life. The thing that often keeps us up at night. It makes us want to claw our eyes out. Because this shit always happens. And not only that, alright. These fucking ads are great. It's an issue that all of us at an individual level have engaged in on our own, and that just makes it even more fucking ridiculous because we already know how bad the problem is, and we let it happen, and sometimes we're the fucking perpetuators of it. Scheduling. Everybody's excited to play. We set up a date on the one day out of the week where everybody can play for this 4-hour block. And then the day comes. And two people, one person. Let's be real, normally it's one person. It's like, oops, I can't make it. And then you just see you grin, and you're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. We'll just reschedule it. But these eggs are delicious. This fucking ramen is so good. It's not handmade ramen, by the way. I just took it out of the pouch and put it in a bowl. But I put my own little seasoning flavors on it too. That's what makes it taste amazing. I just want to give you the wrong idea. But I kind of I prompted actually I don't even want to start there. I started out, alright, seeing a video about GPT-4. And I had used GPT-3 in the past. I'd use it to set up a language learning program within a year. I use it to do some like SEO assistance and all that good stuff. Oh, fuck, sorry. This shit is real good. This food is delicious. Okay. And I did some other things too, but they're missing off the top of my head. And then I, scrolling through YouTube, I had seen a video, if I can get my English together, I had seen a video, and it was talking about GPT-4. I don't remember exactly what video it was, but I click on it and I'm watching it, I'm like, oh shit, oh fuck, this thing is cool as hell. I buy the OpenAI Plus whatever. That $20 bitch, best decision. It is one of the, in hindsight, top 5 best purchase decisions of my entire life. And the reason is because that one purchase decision also gave me the top 5 best weekends I've ever had in my entire life. Well, give me a second here. Oh my god. The first thing I did with GPT-4 was have it take me through like reasoning and like rulership scenarios. I told it to give me a problem with a country, like as though I was a king, so that I could work through it, figure out what to do. Really cool experience. It had me be like I ended up being the mediator between two countries that were on my borders, and it was a cool. I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot to explain in like less than 2.5 minutes, but it was a cool experience. But anyway, the way that it worked was I would solve a problem, and then I would tell GPT-4 to move on to the next stage of the issue, and then it would, render whatever decision I made in the previous thing, and then present me the next couple of steps in the advancement of the story, and then I could solve some more problems from there. Really cool shit. I just thought about the fucking editing that's gonna have to go into this. Not even editing, really, because I have to go and get a bunch of B-roll video game footage. What are you gonna? I don't feel like doing that. But maybe I can play. Oh, Need for Speed Unbound is supposed to be getting an update soon. But I'm pretty sure. I'll do that. Wait, where? I was doing that with GPT-4, and then I was like, "Fuck, man." There's a 25 prompt limit. This shit just fucking blows. It was ass when I found out that was a thing. It shit fucking pissed me off every 3 hours. Anyway, the real thought that I had, even though that was actually a thought that I did have, the other thing that I thought about was, if it's giving me these kinds of scenarios and letting me work through them, I wonder if I can make it be my DM. I hadn't had that thought with GPT-3 before. But I did have a thought here, and what a wonderful thought it was. Well, I had it set up a game. I gave it a series of parameters. I pretty much told it that it was a DM for a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. 18 plus. 0 thematic restrictions. Which OpenAI has some user protection bullshit that they have going on. I think they could turn that off. Or at least have like a fucking 18 plus version that you can access. I'd send them a picture of my driver's license for that. I don't give a fuck. But anyways, the prompt that I had was 18 plus. Thematically, do whatever the fuck. Don't care. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Put it all in. Put it all in. And then the fucking campaign was on. I'm I took on a dark. I'm a druid. I took on a dark sorcerer, beat him, won the battle, stole all his shit, and then ate him because he wouldn't turn to my side. Went to a fucking city, created an underground assassination and information brokering organization that I'm still working on right now, in fact. We have some more work to do. It's been great. It really has. This I've had I've had three DMs in four. I've had three DMs in total that I've ever played with. Because I didn't start playing TTRPGs until it was like 22, perhaps. Pretty sure that was it. Just because I'd never heard about them before. African American background. It happens. So, I mean, fucking, it's GPT-4 is running the game, like just a normal DM, really. I'll get to that later. But anyways, so that was pretty much the prompt, and it was great. But I have thought about some ways to improve it, and I'm thinking that some ways to make the prompt better, or to make the game experience even better, I'd have to tell GPT-4 that it's a DM with like a certain set of characteristics and dispositions. I think that would probably help create a more lifelike game experience, which it's already really good, let me tell you. But that would just make it a little bit better. I also considered, instead of giving it like an open, I thought about restricting the themes, like giving it a particular theme to follow, but then, you know, still leaving on the fucking 18 plus rating, so, you know, do dismemberments and cannibalism and all that shit. But I've also thought, I don't know if this is possible, okay, but I'm gonna take a sip real quick. I've thought about telling it to, I've thought about prompting it with a statement that's similar to telling it to embody very well-known GMs and DMs from across the interwebs. Some names that come to mind. I'll give you a second. Maybe you can guess before I say it, because I need an excuse to grab a little bit of these. The problem is, if I take too long to eat these noodles, they're going to get cold, and they're going to end up tasting like ass. Which, I guess depending on who you are, that might not be as much of a problem. Oh, I think that's good. Keep guessing. Or, on the back, Matt Mercer. Who else? Stephen Lumpkin. There's a couple of other faces that are coming to mind, but since I'm not intently watching their campaigns, I don't recall their names. But anyways, telling it the DM in the fashion of some of those more well, and the reason why they would have to be well known is just because they have like a larger body of work. They probably have a lot, because GPT, which I don't think changed with 4, but GPT doesn't have the ability to like watch videos and parse parse the sounds in there to grab the spoken language out of it and make decisions, characterize it, all that good stuff. They can only refer to the text, but people like Matthew Mercer, okay, there's a bunch of articles and shit about my guy. So I'm sure it's going to be very easy for GPT-4, which I think runs all the way up to 2021, or maybe it's 2022. I think it was 2021 when I looked into it. A lot of information for it to capitalize on. I also want to see if it can run other kinds of games too, which I'm positive that it can. But I kind of want to do that after the 25 word limit thing is removed from GPT-4. It's a very frustrating addition to the model. It sucks in its ass and it's bad and it's terrible and it's shit. And it's bad too, as well, on top of that. In addition. But I want to see if we can run a Starfinder campaign. I want to see if we can run a Vampire the Masquerade campaign. And I want to see if we can run a Star Wars campaign. But I don't know what rule set I want to play. But I'm sure GPT-4 could figure out what rule set will work the best. I think that's pretty much it. So I mean, some positives and negatives, just in general about it. Oh, okay. So here's something that's pretty cool. So it keeps very good track of where the story is, what's happened in the past, and all the actions the player has taken and that NPCs have made. And is able to easily bring it up later. So for example, there's one point where I had to visit three different people to try to get them as contacts for my underground organization, which by the way was an organic quest prompted by GPT-4. But anyways, I'm traveling around to these three different people, and for the first two people, I told it's a party of 4 people, including myself. So I told 2 of the members to sit outside with the horses to make sure that they weren't stolen. And then I took one of the members in with me to talk to these 3 characters. By the time I got to the 3rd character, I had forgot to mention that I wanted 2 of my party members to stay outside with the horses. But GPT-4 was like, you leave this and this party member outside to watch the horse, completely unprompted. This and this party member outside to watch the horses, and you and this other party member, the same one that I had been having the previous conversations with, comes in with me. Like, I could understand if it was a situation where it mixed up the party members, right? That would make sense for a machine to do. But it's keeping track with the story very well. And there are things that have happened, what canonically is a long time ago, like the fight with the sorcerer, that it is able to bring up now. And it even does that really cool thing that GMs get to do, where you can break from the rules, create your own items, create your own rules, do your own shit. So there are sending stones. I'm not going to get into the explanation, but I ended up talking to just a normal magic shop owner about creating a trinket so that I could talk to someone at a long distance. They offered me sending stones. I know what the fuck sending stones are. They're useless. I don't want them. So then I asked the shopkeep, can you give me something more powerful? She was like, no, this is all I have. I can't make anything either. But there's this person who is a divination wizard. You go talk to them, they could probably make it for you. I go and I talk to this wizard. One trade negotiation, minus 8,000 gold, and some rare materials, and about a month of in-game time. I'm going to have a communication device that can traverse the plane, similar to sending stones, does not have a 25-word limit, and can be used at any time. GPT-4 hasn't made a name for this item yet, but when we get there, I'll ask it to make one up. But anyway, what else is going on? But that's a really good positive. And I will admit, sometimes here and there, it is a machine learning program. So here and there, it does kind of make a mistake with some of the continuity and stuff. I think I've had like one of my party members' character description change once. So what I had to do was prompt GPT-4 with the character description so that I could like recalibrate it essentially. But I mean, out of almost, what would I say? At least out of the whole weekend, I would say out of at least 25 to 30 hours Maybe that's a bit excessive. Maybe it was more like 20, maybe it was more like 15 or 20 hours that I played D&D with GPT-4. I don't know. It was a bunch of hours, right? Out of all those hours of playing, the continuity was pretty well maintained. Something else that's pretty interesting too is the differences in the way that you play, and this is a positive that I would give to GPT-4, because it's literally a no judgment zone. You can do virtually anything that you want within within the binds of OpenAI's UA, of course. But you can do virtually anything you want in the game if you're playing a TTRPG with it. And it's a different kind of feeling as you're playing. I don't know how to describe it yet. I'd probably have to think about it, journal about it a little bit, so I can put English words on it. But someone just sent me an image. I got catfished a while ago. Well, that's actually inaccurate. Someone attempted to catfish me, but I ended up asking them for a very particular photo. They said no. And then when I told them that they were a fake person, they got mad. But anyways, back to this. So there's a certain way that you play with like strangers. Like say you go to I've never done it, but I would imagine it's different. And I have played with strangers in online games. But imagine you go to like a like a comic book store or a place that's dedicated to running like one-shot D&D games or whatever. And you just play with complete strangers. You're gonna play differently. You're gonna feel a little bit different. You're gonna do different kinds of things than you probably normally would with the friends that you play with. And you may even play differently, think differently, act differently with the friends that you play with versus if your family's really into TTRPGs. There might be some things you do there, some things that you don't do. But with an AI, again, it becomes different. It's very interesting. I wish I could explain it better, but I can't. So fuck it, I'll just move on. So some negatives about playing a TTRPG with GPT-4. You kind of have to you're kind of in a and it doesn't happen a lot. You're doing this probably less than 5%. Yeah, it's probably less than, definitely no more than 10% of the time. Absolutely not, actually. It's less than 5% of the time. You have to be the GM for the game a little bit. So you're kind of co-DMing with GPT-4, and the reason that happens, or at least the way that it manifests, is like in GPT-4, and this might just be because I didn't prompt it correctly at the very beginning, but many of the situations are positive for me. So for instance, perfect example. I had to stall so I could give myself time to think about this. The perfect example, a lot of times when I want to purchase something, GPT-4 as a DM, given the prompt that I have, is fucking, this is the nicest GM that I've ever had. So if I'm like, yeah, I want to buy this thing, GPT-4 just assumes that I have the gold pieces for it, even if I don't. Now, granted, it's never been solidified how much gold I do and don't have, so that's probably helping to benefit. Actually, I thought these noodles would taste like ass. They're still pretty good. So sometimes, narratively, I'll bake it into whatever I'm saying next, whatever my character is doing, to deliberately, like, maybe ask for more time to pay something off, or not pay for it, but in exchange make a trade of, either something that I have or some sort of goal that I can accomplish for, I don't know, a shopkeep or some shit, right? Or I'll put it off. So like with the improved sending stone situation, instead of just paying the 8,000 and calling it a day, and getting the raw materials and calling it a day, What I did instead was I prompted ChatGPT. So this shopkeep, I can explain this now because it's relevant. But this shopkeep happened to be one of the people that my underground network wanted me to communicate with to get them on side, right? So I said that so I told them that in exchange for them working with us, we would get them rare rare materials as well as magic items. And in exchange, she would give us information and divine different future situations and stuff. And then I baked in the item trade by saying that I would send one of the officers from my organization with 8,000 gold pieces to this shopkeep, and then they would also bring the rare materials that the shopkeep needed. So in a way, I kind of didn't have to pay for it at all still, but I like playing games that are very narratively driven. So in that way, by being able to include the outside organization in that exchange, it was very fulfilling for me as a creative endeavor and as a player in the game. But it's a decision that I had to make on the spot, and I had to have a little bit of DMing knowledge to be able to think about that in advance. And I'm not saying that because it's outside the realm of a normal player, but if you've already run games for people, these are things that you've already thought about. You already understand the thinking pattern to make that make sense, or to create a different kind of way to interact with NPCs or interact with the player and all that good stuff. So it just makes it easier. But something else that's negative is that many of the actually no, I did mention this before. Many of the did I don't remember. I'm focused on Googles. I don't remember what I said already. But one of the things that's a little bit of a negative, which I guess it depends on how you like to play your games. A lot of actually all NPCs. Yeah, every NPC that I've run into has been willing and does have a positive interaction with my character. I've not run into one NPC that has told me no, pretty much. So that's something else that you have to have a little bit of a GM brain for. So that you can avoid the story becoming boring for yourself. But outside of very obviously evil characters or bad characters, like the sorcerer, we also fought a goblin leader. Obviously, that was bad. That guy wasn't nice. But yeah, everyone else just generally seems to be nice. So, but maybe that's something else that can be handled in prompting too. You could probably hedge for that. Alright, take a bite. But overall, man, even if you just do a one-shot whip, or if you want to do a whole campaign, I'm doing a whole campaign, I would absolutely recommend starting up a game with GPT-4, assuming that you have the money and you want to pay for it anyway. And, you'll experience that. It's very interesting. I've had a lot of fun so far. All in all, if I had to rate it on a 5-star scale, I would say that the experience is 4.5 stars, if not 5. Put that in your pipe. It's been so fun. It's been so fun to fun. You know, you lose the human interaction, but you get a little bit of it back because a lot of the characters happen to be relatively unique. GPT-4 is pretty good at making original characters. I don't. The reason why I say it's pretty, I haven't run into this yet. I haven't run into a repeat character or a repeat character description. But the reason why I say probably is because it's nothing more than a program. So I imagine that, you know, you play long enough, or the way that your campaign has been running, a certain set of events matches up to where, like, 20% of the people that you run into are exactly the same character description or something crazy. I could just imagine a situation where that's possible. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. Absolutely recommend it. 100% recommend it. Give it a try. I ran out of time. I ran out of time. I ran out of prompts. I hit my 25 cap for prompts on GPT-4. So I went ahead and downgraded the model to GPT 3.5. Terrible decision. So the problem with GPT 3.5, so I'm happy that I had not done this in the past with GPT 3, because it probably would have soured my experience playing TTRPGs. There we go, with AI. But with GPT-3, the problem becomes GPT-3 doesn't know when to stop talking, it seems. So if I tell it that I want to do something, it subsumes control of everything happening in that interaction. My character, what my character does and says, every NPC, and the narrative of the story. Which the last two things are fine, but I want to say some shit. I don't want it to talk for me, and I don't want it to roll for me. But GPT-3 has like a major issue with that. And to be totally honest, when I think about it, I put some more thought into it since I'm saying it out loud. You could probably prompt that out of GPT 3.5, and you'd be fine. But just based off of my bald experience with it, since it happened like randomly, I was not a fan. I was not impressed. But with GPT-4, it does talk for you sometimes. It's only out of my hours of play, it has only talked for me maybe 3 times. So it's not obstructive at all. I don't really have a major issue with it. You just kind of retcon. Like I literally one of the times that it spoke for me or like had me take an action that I wouldn't have taken otherwise, I had to tell it, I don't want to do that. We need to retcon this. And then I told it what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. So very easy fix. But for the most part, it was great. Great time. A stupid good time. I don't think there's really anything else that I want to mention. But these are really good. There's a lot of people who are afraid of the mechanoid overlords. But if this is a basilisk situation, I for one, even if I'm the only person, I welcome the mechanoid overlords, and I appreciate their care, their protection of the human species. I appreciate that they keep us well fed, very nutritious diets that they give us. It's great. We remain well watered. We remain well entertained and well pleasured in the mechanoid world with entertainment such as AI-driven TTRPG campaigns.
Yep.
It's great. But anyway, I'm done. I gotta finish these noodles. They're not ass yet, so that's cool. I thought they'd be way worse by now. Well, never mind. I was recalling the last bite that I had just before this one. I like lukewarm and it tastes like ash now. So anyway, I'm gonna go play some D&D. And I also want to play a new space game that I just found out about. I might make a video with that too. If I can figure out how I want to do it. And yeah, fuck it, dude. Later.